Welcome to the Called Sister podcast. I'm your host, Sarah Verhoff, and today I'm here with Sister Lemon, and we're really excited to be here. Before we get into it, though, I just want to invite you to like and subscribe to this channel and share this podcast with any woman who could use some uplifting, anybody who's thinking about going on a mission, or anybody who's come home from a mission. I think it's a really important conversation to keep having. There are more and more sisters who are serving missions, and I think as women, we really learn from each other. And the bigger our tribe can be, the better. I don't know if you know this about elephants. I'm going to tell you this. Maybe you know this, but when a woman elephant goes into labor, all the other
Yes,
women in her, oh shoot, I don't know what a whole bunch of
herd.
elephants, is it a
A herd,
herd?
I think.
What they do is they all line up around her and protect her. And
The
I think that's kind of my vision for this podcast is that we're just a whole bunch of elephants
herd.
and we're lined up shoulder to shoulder, keeping one another protected. So,
Yeah, yeah.
anyways, without further ado, as we talk about elephants, Sister Lemon, will you introduce yourself and tell us where you're from and where you're serving?
Well, I'm Sister Lemon. I'm from West Valley City, Utah, so another Utah person. And I'm serving in this area. It's the Lake Hamilton A area. We
Okay.
cover because like the ward is Lake Hamilton, so we're
Right.
just
But
the
A is,
A, and then the elders are B,
oh, okay.
since we ward share.
Okay.
But then we were like Haines City, Davenport, Dundee,
Okay.
that kind of area.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Awesome.
pretty great.
And have you always wanted to serve a mission?
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like I always have. I have a lot of older cousins and a lot of them serve missions. So I was like, oh, that's so cool. Like I want to do that too. And
Nice.
then but around seventh or eighth grade, I think it was, I don't know if it was before or after COVID. I think it was that I was like, okay, I do need to serve a mission.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I need to serve a mission.
Okay. How was
Yeah.
the putting in your papers process for you?
Oh goodness. It
Okay.
was okay. I wanted to have them submitted by like mid like July of 2025.
Okay.
But I have chronic daily headaches and migraines.
Okay.
So my doctor was like, "Oh, you need to get checked off by a neurologist first." Those are such a pain to get into.
Mm.
And then it turned out that I didn't even need to. My primary care doctor was like, "If you're not worried about it, I'm not worried about it. Let's sign it off." So it was like 3 months later that I actually submitted.
You found that out.
Yeah. I kept
Nice.
delaying it because I was like, I can't get into the neurologist until like January of 2026. So like why should I like what even is this?
Oh.
So like when I have medical background craziness. So like that's the hard part. Like when you have perfect health, mission papers are easy.
Hmm.
But when you don't, it gets a little more complicated because they do need to know everything.
Yeah.
Because in a new environment, things can relapse.
Mm.
So you want to be able to have that. You want to be able to they need to know
Okay.
so that just in case. So it's quite the process. It is quite the process when you're doing it. But at the end, it's great. It's awesome. And then you get your call and you're like, okay, 5 months, 5 months to
Yeah.
go.
Yeah. I know Cora had a hard time with all sorts of different rigmarole. And it's funny because it is really thorough, all the
Yeah.
medical stuff. And I love that you said that they really do need to know. I know it can feel
Yeah.
really frustrating, like, well, do I make it less of a big deal or do I,
Hmm.
not that you like, I don't think anybody who's thinking about going on a mission is like, oh, well, should I lie about it? But I think sometimes we think, well, I don't think it's that big of a deal. So I like that you said they do need to know because being in a new environment does make things bigger,
It does.
essentially. Whatever the thing is, it makes it bigger. And this is something that maybe I don't know, I'm thinking about it, so I'll mention it. One of the most common things for sister missionaries is amenorrhea, which means you stop having your period.
It's true.
Like that is
Yeah.
the number one most common
Which is
thing.
horrifying to
And
me.
I don't think that it's talked about. I don't even know that. Did
I
you know that?
I had no idea. I've
Yeah.
only
Had you ever heard that? No.
no, yeah.
Yeah. It's so normal. Like that happened to
It's
me
it did?
in the MTC. And
Oh,
I was
it's
like, oh, what's
horrifying.
happening? Am I broken and what's
Yeah.
going on? So for anybody listening, if that happens to you, it's totally normal. Our bodies are so cool. Heavenly Father and Heavenly Mother created our bodies in such a way that it knows sort of different things to shut off. And that is
Yes.
not one that is incredibly necessary all of the time, especially when you're on a mission. So
Yeah.
it's cool that our bodies do that, but it's nice to know like you don't really totally have to freak out. But yeah, and
Yeah,
medical stuff is really important.
it terrified me. Like when I first found that out, I was just like, yeah, Sister Smith, my first trainer.
Mm.
was talking about, she's like, yeah, this happens. I was like, it what now?
Yeah. It can, but
Like
it
it
doesn't
can, it
have
doesn't
to.
always.
Yeah.
I'm just like, because like, yeah, they could have the most regular period ever, and then it just disappears, and then it goes
Hmm.
back to being regular after they get home. And I was like,
Or
okay,
even partway through the mission when your body's like, oh, okay, we're not like
yeah,
dying. Everything's gonna sort of be okay.
yeah,
So chronic daily headaches.
yes.
So how has that been being on the mission?
I have not had a headache since fourth grade, so it has been really hard. That's something I have. I
So
yeah,
up until fourth grade all the time?
no.
No,
Fourth grade is
you
when my
haven't
headaches start. I
not had a
haven't
headache.
not had a headache since around fourth grade. And then it goes
Wow.
like I have my baseline headache,
Okay.
which is like I like to use 1 through 9, so
Okay.
that way there's a midpoint,
Oh,
which is
okay.
5.
Okay.
Like
Yeah, because
there is an
she's
exact
like five
mid.
and a half. Okay, gotcha. Because
Exactly.
one through
So
10.
one through
Gotcha.
nine, 5
Uh-huh.
is the exact center. So a normal person, a normal headache would be around probably like a 3.
Yeah.
That's my baseline. I'm always at a 3.
Wow.
So like the mission thing, it does make it harder.
Okay.
And so that made my mission papers a lot harder.
Okay.
And it's Amazon has these little pill cases. Highly recommend. Highly recommend because like allergy pills, you never know if there's gonna be some like a
Yeah.
member meal. You might need a Benadryl because
Yeah. Okay.
you don't know.
Yeah.
Sometimes you don't know if they're gonna have an animal you're allergic to,
Mm-hmm.
or you might be overly sensitive to that animal on that particular day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah,
so
especially
I
if you've
love
never
having
been
that.
around stuff like that. Yeah. Good
Exactly.
point.
It's like I'm from Utah. Florida is completely new. So I
Mm-hmm.
got here and I was like, wow, my allergies way different than
It's the
usual.
country of Florida.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's like probably the most out of country you can get. And
Yeah.
besides like probably Hawaii and
Yeah.
Alaska
Yeah.
is Florida, especially to Utah.
Yeah. Right. Very
So
different.
yeah, so that makes it hard. It's like I have asthma.
Okay.
So it's like my body has a lot of minor inconveniences.
Okay.
So it's not like these higher, like there are a lot of people that have things a lot worse than I do, obviously. But I just have a lot of minor inconveniences in the physical
Okay.
aspect.
Yeah.
So it does make it hard. And I feel like it's not talked about enough how hard things can be physically,
Okay.
especially for someone who's like we think that we when we view our own personal problems, we view them as a lot minor than they actually
Hmm.
are.
Yeah.
Because like I tell you, I've had a constant headache since fourth grade, and you're like, what in the world?
I
But
know.
to me, like that's just normal. So I think that's another reason why we gotta be
Someone
completely
else.
on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like that was one of the very first things I told Sister Stone. And it's that like I
Oh, even
constantly
with
have a
your
headache.
companions.
Yeah,
Oh, I hadn't even
because
thought of that.
they
Yeah, that's
know
important.
that there are some days I will not be able to function to the best. Like my 100% this day isn't going to be my 100% all the time.
That's such a good point. Is just I think how the communication
Yeah.
factor of it in a companionship. I mean, like that helps you throughout your life, but how cool it
Hmm.
is to just immediately be like, listen, this is what I'm dealing with. This is how I can
Yeah,
show up, and this is how maybe some days I can't.
exactly. And it's like learning on the mission, I've had to be so comfortable with my weaknesses.
Whoa.
I've had to be comfortable with I have a chocolate allergy. I'm allergic to cocoa beans. To me, back then I
Gotcha.
was like, I know it
It's a
is.
moment of silence. I just I don't, may that be healed. Okay.
It's so bad. But I have to be upfront about that. I need to tell people that because to me, my whole life I just like, oh, I just won't eat the chocolate. I just won't
Right.
eat it. I'm just like, that's no big deal to me. But going to a member meal and if they have something that's a chocolate dessert, they feel so bad if
Right.
I can't eat it.
Yeah.
And I don't want them to feel that way. And it's like, if I don't tell them, it's like, yeah, they didn't know, so it's not their fault.
Hmm.
But then I just like, I don't want them to feel that way because then they do feel like it's their fault.
Yeah.
It's like you have to be open about your weaknesses, especially with companions.
Yeah.
Like they need to know. And you need that's something that's been really hard is being comfortable with my weaknesses
Mhm.
because I have hypermobility in my joints, so sometimes working out is hard.
Okay.
Then I have asthma, and it's been cold here recently, so
Hmm.
working out has been hard.
Hmm. Yeah.
And then my headaches, all these things that like all these factors that go into it, and it's just you have to be upfront and comfortable with the fact that you have these weaknesses.
So I'm curious. did that ever make you like with these different things where you were like, that's going to be too much to go on a mission? Maybe I just shouldn't.
Um, I feel like when you make a decision, this is something we've talked about a lot, is that when you make a decision, especially a righteous one, the adversary is gonna
Oh
knock you
man,
down.
serious. He's
So
so rude.
that's so bad. So I made this decision when I was 12 or 13 years old that I need to serve a mission. I had a very powerful confirmation that I needed to go. And then especially throughout high school, I it he was hitting me and just like my headache started to get worse. I was like, okay, how is this going to affect my mission? Like, should I serve a mission because my headaches, like my asthma is getting worse. Like I
Mm,
can't eat very fast. I can't do these things. Like sometimes like members give you a lot of food so you have to eat it fast so you don't seem rude. But I
right.
physically can't do that.
Yeah.
So it did. It like he brought up all of my weaknesses. So like you shouldn't serve a mission because you have all of these things that are
Mhm.
gonna be such like you're gonna be such an inconvenience to your companions.
Oh,
And
really? That's
I feel that a lot.
thank you for that
Yeah.
vulnerable answer because I'm gonna let you keep talking, but I just want to like stop for a minute. That is such a huge, like if you've said that out loud before,
No,
it's a hard thing to say, but
it
like how
hurts.
beautiful that you're willing to share that because I have a feeling, I mean, this podcast tends to hit people and help them right where they are.
Hmm.
And so if you've ever felt like I'm going to be such a huge inconvenience on my mission, I mean, look at Sister Lemon who's here on her mission and doing it anyways as like a partner to be like, okay, if you can do it, then I can do it because
Yeah.
Satan's going to put those dumb thoughts into your mind. And can I just be perfectly honest and say today has gone up until the
Oh my.
point you got here, like at least for me, you too then.
Yeah,
It's
it's
been
been rough
horrible.
today.
It's been a horrible, horrible day. And there's absolutely no reason for it except for the conversations
Hmm.
so far that we have been able to have and that we're
Yeah,
sharing. So it must be super important. So this day was a horrible inconvenience for all of us, and yet we're still here
exactly.
and we're still doing it.
Yeah.
So, anyways, keep going.
Yeah,
Thank you for sharing
he
this.
didn't want this to happen. So
Yeah.
it shows that how important it is.
Yeah.
So it's like when we put someone on date, we see how much the adversary doesn't want them to get baptized.
Yeah.
When someone gets engaged, the adversary attacks them because they don't want them to get sealed.
Right. Don't
When
go to the
someone makes
temple.
yeah, when someone makes a decision to serve a mission, he doesn't want them to because he knows
Hmm.
how important the work is.
Yeah.
But I feel so much more than I've ever felt that I'm an inconvenience to everybody around me.
It's
I feel
more.
like it's more. I feel like this
Really?
isn't talked about enough.
Yeah.
That I've struggled with anxiety and depression for a large chunk of my life. And I've always felt like there's someone who doesn't like me. And then everyone keeps telling you it doesn't matter what other people think about you because it only matters what God thinks
And you're
about
like,
you.
blah, 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 blah. Thank you.
In the moment, I was just
Yeah.
like, what in
It's
the
a
world?
nice idea, but like,
Like,
that's not how
it's
I
like, thank you
feel.
for telling me I know that, but I don't feel it.
Yeah.
Like, I know that, but I don't feel it. It's like I have my headaches. I feel like I'm inconveniencing my companions by doing that. I can't work out a lot and I can't work out. I'm always tired, which goes along with the depression and all these things. And he brings up those weaknesses full force because he doesn't want you to do the things that you know you're supposed to do. And it's hard.
Yeah.
It is really hard. But I don't think it shouldn't stop us. But it does.
Yeah.
Yesterday, so we're filming this the day after Palm Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
And yesterday during church, we had the 1 hour service as told by our lovely prophet.
Mm-hmm.
And I wrote 2 pages in my journal. And I might start crying
That's okay.
of why am I here? I wrote pages of I'm seeing all these people do so much good, but like like the work is only progressing because Sister Stone is in this area, not because I am. This like we sat outside in the foyer area where the couches are waiting for these people for like 30 minutes and all I could think about was like I want to go join the meeting. Like why are we sitting out here?
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm beating myself up over that. I was like oh I shouldn't be thinking about that. I should be thinking about the people that we desperately want to come to church today.
Mm-hmm.
but like, oh, well, all I'm thinking about is myself. And I'm just like, I'm just writing pages and pages and pages. Not, it's 2 pages,
But that feels like pages and
but it
pages and
feels
pages.
like
Yeah,
so
yeah.
long
So many
of just
thoughts.
all of these weaknesses. And like, and this happened yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like people don't talk enough about how hard it is
Mm-hmm.
because we forget I'm in the midst of my hard times.
Mm-hmm.
So people, because they forget the hardness, which is a very good thing. It's like when a woman has a baby, she
Mm-hmm.
forgets the pain she went through.
Mm-hmm.
And when you leave your mission, you forget that you remember you had hard times, but you forget what they were.
Mm-hmm.
I am in the middle of my really hard times on my mission because I'm in my second transfer.
Mm-hmm.
So first transfer, you're at the high. I'm here, I'm here.
Yeah.
Second transfer, you haven't found your purpose yet.
Mm-hmm.
And people don't talk about that enough.
Mm-hmm.
It's I felt multiple times that I was like, why am I even serving a mission? Like there's no reason for me to be here right now.
Mm-hmm.
It's like I'm here to be a companion I'm
Mm-hmm.
here to be a companion for my companions so that they can do the work.
Oh,
But
wow.
my influence here isn't doing anything. That's just how it feels.
That's a hard feeling.
And it doesn't feel like that all the time. Some people like view we in adjusting to missionary life, there's the green, yellow, orange, and red missionary. Which adjusting is kind of a newer thing where like green is like okay, good, going, awesome, and then
Mm.
red is the exact opposite of that,
Oh, okay.
where you have the inability to
Warning, warning, warning,
yeah,
warning.
warning,
Okay,
like tell
gotcha.
your mission president immediately.
Okay, okay.
And it's some people don't it's okay like people view depression sometimes as a constant state of being feeling this way, but
Okay,
it's not.
okay.
It's I don't always feel this way. There are a lot of times I see the hope and joy in the world. Like yesterday, I had that really hard moment during church,
Mm-hmm.
which some people are like, you had that during church. Like, yes,
Yeah,
it happens during
right.
church. And but the rest of the day was so much fun. We
Good.
talked to so many people. We knocked on doors and we were just making jokes and we were like, laughing. It was so much fun. So like one just in a 24-hour period, you can have like the lowest of your lows and the highest of your highs.
Mm-hmm.
But that doesn't mean it's all okay. And in adjusting, it's like one of the symptoms is the inability to feel the spirit.
Mm.
And that's something that I wrote about in my journals. Like, is my heart like I don't have an inability to feel the spirit, but sometimes it's harder than it might be for the average person
Mm.
because I'm in some depression.
Okay.
And it's like, is my inability to feel the spirit affecting my friend's progress towards baptism?
Mm.
And I'm just like, realistic in my head, I know it's not
Mm-hmm.
because everything that happens is in God's plan.
Mm-hmm.
It's like if we missed a turn, there's a reason why we missed that
Mm-hmm.
turn. If we like we got here, if we got to your house like an hour early, don't know why, but we did. And like there's a reason for that. Maybe if we had left the time we were supposed to, something
Yeah,
we
who
don't
knows? Yeah.
know. But it's hard to see that when you're in the midst of your slump.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I like to call it like I have moments where I'm very downtrodden.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah.
Very
Squished
like
and walked on.
down.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah, it
absolutely.
like
Well, I'm glad you guys
I don't
came
like
earlier
talking.
because that actually, my day got better when you guys got here.
Oh.
Like things just went better
Oh,
once
that's
you got here. So I'm grateful for that. It was the opposite of an inconvenience.
oh good.
Yeah, 100%.
Okay, because I hate talking about I don't like talking about how hard a mission is because I don't want it to deter people from serving.
Mm.
But it's a realistic thing that every missionary goes through
Hmm.
at least one point of their mission. So I feel like it's good to know about it,
Yeah,
but don't let it stop you
good.
from serving.
Yeah, don't
Because
let it
there
scare
it
you when it happens.
yeah.
And like, oh, here's mine. I guess this is what's going on, and I can make it through. I mean, every single podcast that I have had, not one single person has been like, it was so easy. The whole time was smooth sailing. There was no problems. It was the easiest thing ever. There are those moments, like you
Yeah.
said yesterday, where you were laughing and giggling and it was wonderful and it was fun. And we have those moments. And also we have we have lows.
We do.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
it's absolutely not a reason to not serve a mission. So don't let the
absolutely.
scary piece. It's kind of like saying, well, don't have babies because the labor's horrible. Well, yeah, the
Mhm.
labor's horrible, like it just is. So, but you know that.
Yeah,
And the end result is that you get to have
it's
a
yeah.
human, and the end result.
Preparation
Yeah.
is huge. Like
Mm-hmm.
we have these Edify courses we have to go through,
Okay.
and like all of them say like prepare beforehand, know what you're gonna do when this happens. So
Mm.
I feel like if we talk about it and know what we're gonna do first,
Yeah.
then we'll know what to do when it happens.
So, what would be some suggestions that you would give to somebody who is maybe in a similar situation as you, who struggles with health, like
Hmm.
physical and mental health things, but really wants to serve a mission? What are some of the, I don't know, maybe things that you've been through that has helped to prepare you in sort of getting through? I know you're still brand new, you're only a couple transfers in, and you're still probably at that,
Yeah.
but like what has got you at least to this point so far that has helped?
Um, Not letting it stop the work I'm doing.
Okay.
Because like we daily plan every morning, and there's times where I don't want to do the work because I'm in such like a tired, downtrodden state,
Mm-hmm.
but not letting it stop me from working.
Okay.
And like on the physical aspect, um, you don't have they tell you to work out 30 minutes, but know what your own body's limits are.
Good.
And like you can walk for 30 minutes,
Right.
walk for
Doesn't have to be
15.
CrossFit. It can be like yoga.
Exactly.
Like chill out, guys. Yeah.
Exactly. It's like there's all sorts of different types of
Hmm.
exercises. So you can like walk for 15 and then do like squats and push-ups for the
Right.
other 15.
Yeah.
Something I did first transfer is instead of that 30-minute workout, we did 5 squats and push-ups before we left the house
There you go.
every single time.
Nice.
So it wasn't that set time, but we were moving our body
Mm-hmm.
throughout the day. But they want you to work out 30 minutes in the morning because it does set you up for success.
Mm-hmm.
It does set you up for success throughout the day, and I have noticed that. But sometimes you're just physically not able to.
Mm-hmm.
So have different options that you can do for different states of your physical ability.
Good.
I have before coming out on the mission, I like to like follow YouTube
Mm-hmm.
workouts, but obviously I can't do that. So I
Mm-hmm.
copied what they did on those workouts onto little post-it
Mm-hmm.
cards, and I do those sometimes, and I
Nice.
can adjust those to how I'm feeling physically.
Nice.
But honestly, keeping in the back of your mind that I'm going through this because God needs me to.
Okay.
Like I'm going through this right now because maybe someone I'm gonna meet later on in the mission needs to hear it from me now.
I like that you said that maybe someone on the mission needs to hear it from me,
Yeah,
because I think that's a huge point. And you know what? What if, what if a big part of your mission is being a companion?
exactly.
Like the way you said it earlier was almost like a, "Ugh." But what if
Yeah,
that is? Like, isn't that a cool thing that you're
it's true.
making it possible for someone else to serve?
That's a good point.
And it's a beautiful, beautiful thing doing for someone else something that they can't do. They can't be two people.
Yeah. Like I wasn't supposed to be on my mission yet
Mm.
because of the age change.
Mm.
Um, and that was like my start date was March 16th, and then it got bumped up to December 22nd
I never knew it went that way.
because of the age change.
Oh,
Because I had my call and my mission papers in, but then I was still 18 when the age change happened. So then my stake president got an email going, "Hey, she can request a date change." So I did, and I was able to leave like 3 months sooner,
wow.
which is insane. But part of me thinks like, well, like my start date, December 22nd,
Hmm.
was after my original availability date. So I was like, why didn't I just get sent out on that time
Interesting.
anyway?
Yeah.
It's like that could have been my original start date from the beginning, but
And it
it
probably,
wasn't.
and it was God's plan, right? Like
Exactly.
it all
I was like,
works
did I
out.
just really need to learn some patience and trust in
And then
a
he's
couple
like,
weeks' time?
here's your reward.
Exactly.
Gonna go
It's
early.
like
That's
I don't
awesome.
know what I needed to learn. And I was like, we're now past that date.
Yeah.
I don't know why I needed to be here in that
Yeah.
specific time. I don't know. Like maybe it's something later down the road that I needed experience for. I
Yeah.
needed like my first transfers experience for later down the road.
Mm-hmm.
But like
Who knows?
I still
Yeah.
don't know, but I know that keeping in mind that God's plan always comes through
Yeah.
and comes forward no matter what.
Yeah.
In the moment it's really hard. And it's
Absolutely.
okay.
Yeah. And
It
it's
is
okay
really
that it's hard,
okay.
right? It's okay to have it be hard. Okay, so I can't believe it, but I think we're already almost at our time.
That's insane.
So, yeah, that is insane. So, to kind of start to wrap it up, you heard with your companion when I was asking her
Yeah.
questions, like, is there something, and I feel like you said this a lot throughout the podcast, but just in case you want to reiterate anything, what is there any advice that you'd like to tell to someone who is either thinking about going on a
Mhm.
mission or who's maybe home from their mission or who is a woman out there listening to a sister missionary who needs some uplifting? Like, is there
Yeah.
anything you'd like to tell her?
Um, One of my favorite scriptures is in Esther, and it's you are here for such a time as this.
Mm,
No matter what, there is a reason why you're making the decision you made. There's a reason why my papers didn't submit what I didn't my papers weren't submitted when I wanted them to.
mm,
There's a reason why. There's always a reason why. For such a time as this, we are here now going through the struggles that we're supposed to. Don't There's another quote of if you knew it, like heavy paraphrasing. If you knew it once and you had that confirmation by the
mm.
Spirit once, why is it any less true now?
Yeah.
I knew that's something I had to hold on to during high school. I was like,
Okay.
if I knew it then when I was 13, it's not any less true now that I
Mm,
need to serve a mission. It's like, so that like goes through that can cover so many different things. But I feel like those two things, I was like, there's a reason why you're going through what you're going through. There's a reason why you are here. There's a reason why you are where you're at right now.
mm,
And don't let the adversary stop you from doing something you know you've already known that you're supposed to do. Don't doubt your doubts.
mm.
Well, doubt your doubts before you doubt your faith.
There
That's
you
from
go.
Dieter F.
Good.
Uchtdorf.
Yeah.
Doubt your doubts before you doubt your faith. And don't let the adversary make your doubts a reality.
Good. Oh, that's amazing. I love it. When we were in New York, Wes called me one day. He was traveling to work and he said, "Oh
Uh-huh.
my gosh, I just heard I am a child of God." And it's like, I mean, everybody knows that song, but he's like, "But I heard it differently. I heard I am a child of God and he has sent me here."
Here.
And that was like what you were saying.
Yeah.
You were, what, how was it? You were made for such a time as this.
Yeah.
Like, how beautiful that God knows us so well that we are exactly
Yeah.
where we need to be, and he makes it happen. He creates shortcuts and detours
Mm-hmm.
and everything so that we
Yeah.
all end up in the same place at the same time. And who knows, maybe it was part of it was so you could be here right now to do this
Exactly.
podcast with me
Exactly.
and for
Because I would
whoever
be in the
listens.
MTC right now if
Yeah.
my date didn't change.
And who knows where you would have been, Heavenly Father knows.
Yeah,
And it's just,
exactly.
it's beautiful. Thank you so much for joining me today, Sister Lemon. This is so amazing. And thank you for watching and listening and participating. And please, if this touched you at all, feel free to share, leave us a comment, let us know maybe what you're struggling with or how this helped to lift you, because this has just been such an important podcast where we talk about some hard things,
Yeah.
and I really appreciate your honesty and your vulnerability. This has been
Yeah.
amazing. So thank you for joining us and have an amazing day. Love you.
Bye.
Bye.